All right, so someone wanted to know about the CEDs. Okay, they're basically like vinyl records inside a casing, a plastic casing. So this is a CED player, RCA Select Division, and you simply, which works on a belt and a stylus. So that's the load. See, the L means load. So basically, you just take a CD, this being Friday the 13th, and you push it in. It takes the disc, like so. So now it just injected the disc. So as you can see, the casing is separate. So now the disc is inserted. You hit play. And I have it hooked up AV on a LG, like a modern television. So the difference is why I like this is because growing up in the 70s, I saw my first movies either on television or at the movie theater. Now at the movie theater, you'd always get like a picture that wasn't perfect at the movie theater. You know, they were being projected on a big screen. So, I mean, today now we have 4K Blu-ray, and you can see details that you couldn't see back when it was even at the movies on that big screen because of the picture quality. Now, I prefer the picture quality like this. As you can see the specks and lines, you see those white specks. And now what you probably can't hear, you can probably hear it. You hear those little those static that you would hear from like a vinyl record in the sound and the picture. You see that? You see how you get a little, you see all those white dots flickering and that little popping in the sound? Now the picture does look more colorful and clearer here than on video. I'll try shutting off this light to see if it makes a difference. But okay, you hear the crackling and the little distortion in the picture. That to me is as close as you would see it at the movie theater back in the day. Especially those old dollar admission movie theaters that would get the movies later on after they got released at the big movie theaters like Cinemax or the Bing, compared to like your big movie theater. So you see the picture there is not too bad, right? For being something that was attempted 40 years ago. Now, basically inside that casing, inside this casing is a record. It's not quite a vinyl record, but it works the same way with the grooves. And there's a stylus that works like a needle in the player. And that's how you get the distorted, kind of, at the time it was like not many people had a CD player. It was more VHS at the time. This would be like a step up, for like rich people, I want to say, or people, wealthy people, had a CD player. I remember a girlfriend of mine from high school. Her father was one of those Shriners clowns. And I don't know what he did for a living besides that, but they had a CD player. And she used to pop in movies when I went over. And to me, it was like, wow, what the hell is this? You know, I mean, all I had was a VHS, VCR. And, you know, I'd already seen a handful of movies at the movie theaters. Halloween, 1978. King Kong, 1976. Saturday Night Fever. These, I mean, all adult flicks. But back then, you know, you went with family, and around the holiday times, you'd go see a movie, Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving Eve or New Year's Eve. You'd go to the movie theaters. It was like a thing back then in the 70s. But what I like about the CDs is they came out in the early 80s, maybe like 1981, maybe even 1980. And RCA was the company that put the format out.
We weren't doing anything. We were just.
So there were several players, not many, but this is like one of the one I have here is like one of the basic original releases. I don't have a remote for it. I'm not sure if it had a remote. It may have. A lot of the remotes back then were wired. This one doesn't have a wired remote or a remote at all, so I'm not sure if this model came with a remote. But watch when, just look if you can hear the crackle. Like the crackle you would get from a vinyl record when you listen to music. And that's what I love about it, because it gives you the best feel of a movie theater. You see all that distortion in the picture? I mean, this is how you would see it at the movie theaters. Now you got to remember, as these movies went from movie theater where they projected it, it would go onto a VHS, and then like this, and then they had laser discs, and then eventually we had DVDs, where the quality, they started cleaning up the movies, the film. Then you got the Blu-ray, and they were like, you know, saturated colors, and colors were improving, and picture quality, they were getting cleaning up the specs and the distortions, mostly. But with that said, VHS tapes also have this kind of quality, except you don't have that crackle from the vinyl. From these being like a vinyl record, they have more of that popping in the sound, the humming. So to me, as movies got fixed up to like say 4K, as they repair and repair and repair, you got to remember that they're, you know, repairing the film. So this is like, to me, more original to the movie theater as far as picture quality, and then being on these CDs with the popping and the, you know, the popping and the sound and the crackling, it just brings you back to a movie theater quality. To me, it's closest to movie quality. So now, even with the remote, it does have, like I can hit I can pause it. So that basically pauses it, but it doesn't show it frozen and on screen. I'm sure some of the players did. This one didn't have the feature that showed where it's paused, but you unpause it and it's right back where it was. So it has the pause. So if you had to get up and go to the bathroom or get up and go make some popcorn, you do have the pause button. And if you wanted to forward a little bit through, or you missed and you wanted to rewind,
About 20 miles.
you do have the slow. Watch, I'll do it. So here's, you can slow forward through, slow rewind, and you see the picture. Then there was the fast, where you can actually skip chapters, I guess. So that's like chapter 8, chapter 9. So I'll hit it again. Chapter 10, or 9.5, 10 now. Okay, so I just jumped up to chapter 10. So it does have that feature where you can go back. It goes in it goes. It doesn't. For some reason, this one's. Oh, I think you got to hit it twice. That's right. Oh, it's not exactly working. Should be going back a chapter, but I think it's just putting it back to 12. I think you got to hit it twice. So watch. 1, 2. Nope, didn't work. Or hold it down. Yes, you got to hold it down. I see. So you hold it down, and you could go back. You got to hold it down. Oh, now I'm back to chapter 4. To go forward, same thing. You hold it down, you go to chapter 10. So there you go. So that's how it works. So now when you're done, it doesn't need rewinding. You just hit this switch down here. It goes into the load. You take the casing, you stick it in here, you push it in, and it captures the disc back into the casing. Okay, so very innovative for the time. Here's one I just got in. I'm gonna do another video on my complete collection. I don't have like a huge collection, but just the movies I really like that are available on CDs. Because like I was gonna say before, they were only around from like 1980 or 81 to like 1986, I believe. I think Back to the Future was one of the last CDs ever made, and that one's expensive. I don't have that one, but I plan to get it. This is like a rental. This was once available to rent at a Dale's TV and Radio, 2400 Athens Ave, Redding, California. So that's pretty neat. And it says here, good for 1 week. So I guess you would rent it weekly. So you'd rent this for the week. And yeah, I mean, I have some other rental ones. I actually enjoy the rental ones. It tells a story. Sometimes I go on Google and see where exactly that address was and what it is today. I do that with VHS, X rentals, CDs, video games. So there you have it. Like I said, I'm going to do another video on my complete collection. I still have some to go through. And I'll show all the rental ones that were X rentals, which is cool. So that's it. That's pretty much the CD, a format that I didn't grow up with. Because like I said in other videos, my parents, immigrated to the United States from Italy. So high-tech electronics wasn't a priority for them. Although later on, my father did get one of those big satellite dishes to get Italian channels for the soccer, and for soccer, he liked soccer, and So you did get one of those. That was like the most innovative purchase my parents ever made. Was a big one of those big dishes that would go in your backyard and it would move around and catch satellites. And you could catch. It was like a sophisticated cable, that worked with a satellite. So there's your story. We didn't grow up with one of these. Um, like I said, we were lucky to have a VCR when they got cheaper. So I did grow up on VHS, but not until the 80s. In the 70s, they were expensive. Um, and there you have it, the CDs. Another thing left behind that technology attempted. Hope you enjoyed this. The players, they're hard to find working. Sometimes it's just an easy repair, like a belt. You can open them up and change out the belt, but the styluses are hard to come by. Like mine works very good right now. My stylist, it's been working good since I got this from my son, because my son had gotten a couple of these players, and he gave me this one, which is an RCA Selective Vision, as you can see there. And I like it. I mean, the stylist is in here. There's a little door here where you can change the stylist. I haven't had to do that yet, and they're very, very expensive. Like I said before, they can run you in the hundreds of dollars just for the stylus. And then the player itself, they have like the later models they have more features, and I like this one. It's the basic one. I don't mind that it doesn't have a remote. It doesn't bother me, because just, once in a while, if I want to get a theater experience, I'll watch something down here. Some of my, all-time favorite movies are in there, and I'll go through those once I get done going through all the other ones. And as you can see, this Friday the 13th was also an X rental, it looks like, with the F45 there, but though no longer has like the rental label showing the address or anything. So that may have fallen off at one point, or that place didn't put them on. But I do have some with full X rental labels with addresses and most of the places were like appliance stores carried these. CDs wasn't something I remember seeing at like Caldors or department stores, or not even like I don't know, like the bigger electronics stores would probably have them. But like they were mostly, it appears, because a lot of the places that have like stickers or labels from a store or something, they always seem to be like some kind of appliance store. So that makes sense. I mean, we still have one in our area called Manny's TV and Appliance. So back in the early 80s, we didn't have like Circuit City yet, I don't think, in my area, or Best Buy, or so appliance stores that sold, refrigerators, stoves. They would also have like a TV section, a television section, and VCRs, and that's who majorly kept these, sold these CDs, higher end stuff. They also sold like stereos and, all sorts of kind of radios. And so these were mostly, you would find these in an appliance store. And not too many people had these. Like growing up, I didn't know anybody that had these, except for, like I said, later on in the later 80s in high school. That girl I was telling you about, her stepfather had one. Other than that, I knew nobody else. Same thing with laser discs. I didn't know anyone that had a laser discs player. The majority of the households, almost every household, you would see a VCR, the VCR format, VHS. Beta was also attempted. It was the same format as VCR, VHS. It was just on a smaller tape, and you couldn't record on betas, I don't believe. So that was the advantage that VHS had. It was kind of like the HD DVD compared to Blu-ray when that first came out, and Blu-ray eventually won the battle. And VHS also had that same thing with Betamax, and VHS won that battle. And like I said, there was probably a VCR in every single household to record your shows off television. And that's how you get some of the footage that we find on YouTube today was from VHS tapes. So thank goodness for VCRs, because a lot of stuff that you see on YouTube was preserved and discovered on VHS tapes. So thank God for that. These weren't recordable either, like Betamax. These were just to play movies. You couldn't record on these. Laser discs, same thing. You couldn't record on them. So that's why VHS, VCRs was the format, the go-to format, and the most price efficient one later on. In the 70s, they were very expensive, but come 80s, you could get VCRs affordable, and every household had one. So this was more like a novelty, something not necessary, but I'm sure at the time it was very innovative to go to a store and buy one of these things for like $49.99. Because I see prices on some of them. They were up there. They were in the $50 range for a movie, encased in this plastic thing, which had to be inserted. I didn't want to make this video that long, but you know me, I just keep going. So while we're at it, I guess what we could do is make this video just a tad bit longer. Okay, so now when you insert the CD, there's these tabs here that shows, and these are, I forgot to mention, these are double-sided. So what you do is you insert side one, and then when it gets to about the halfway point, you insert it again, and it puts it back, and then you turn it around and insert it back in. And that's how you view side two to finish the movie. And then when it's done, you simply would slide it this way back, and it indicates that here that this side is disc one. I mean side one, and side two. So, and then I gotta probably put the phone down for one second. I'll show you how you open these up. So there's little tabs right here. Okay, so you stick something in there, move this tab, pull up. Now that side's dislodged. And then you do the same thing on this side. Do the same thing here. They're just like little tabs. So now you could pull it out. And that's what I was talking about. So that's how it is inside. So like I said, it's like a vinyl record. It just has a little more gloss to it than a record. It has like a laser disc look to it, but it's, black. But it does, I don't know if you can catch that in the light, the rainbows and stuff. So like like a vinyl record is more, you don't have that shine. But but I don't know if you can tell, but you can see the actual, like the actual grooves that the stylus picks up. So there you have it. That's what it looks like inside. That's just a disc, a vinyl laser disc type thing. And then this plastic casing right here just holds it. So here we go. Side one, which is this one. So basically the way you put it back in is you just kind of hold it together, slide it back in. It slides back in like so. Now once you lock it up, the tabs, it's locked so it doesn't come out. You can hear it in there. You can move it so you can hear it inside, but it won't come out. It's because it's locked in on both sides. And you stick it in the player, pull it out, and there you have it. So I hope that answers some things you never seen in other videos, or I explained some things that you haven't seen in any other CED videos. But yeah, cool format. And like I said, the thing I like about it is that it gives you that movie theater experience, in my opinion, because it's not a picture perfect quality. It has some distortion, so I like that. It has that movie theater feel. All right, I'm just rambling now, so y'all have a good night. Take care. If you can get a player cheap and it works, and you can grab a couple of CDs, it's a pretty cool thing to have if you have the room. I mean, you could hook it up to obviously a CRT, but I like the picture on here. It's got that nice movie theater look, and I think that's a 50-inch TV here, I believe. Yeah, so y'all have a good night. Thanks.